Bang.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to beat Brad's ass at the next Rockstars event. Just get that right in before Brad can say anything. But welcome to today's show. I am back. I'm not hanging about on any locker or anything like that this week and falling off the jet ski. So apologies, I bailed out last week, guys, but I was literally too nice a day and I was just messaged Mike and I'm like, they're not going to lie, but I'm enjoying this.
I'm on a jet ski, bro.
Yeah.
There's no point.
I was talking to a buddy from the UK. He's like, bullshit. He's watching football. He's not on a jet ski. That was the day of. That was a good day for you guys, wasn't it?
Well, if you like England, then yeah, it was a good day. But I'm Scottish, so that's like the enemy.
That's true. I'm sorry for insulting you, dude.
Yeah, I was
not. You all look alike, though.
But nah,
pretty
good weather, and we don't see it that often. So I was just like, "Fuck the show, guys! I'm taking time out and going on there. So why not?"
How's this like rollout? Like whatever they're rolling out right now. I've seen some interesting stuff. How's it been treating your stuff, dude?
I've not really seen any negative stuff at all. I've only ever seen like kind of positive stuff going on. So yeah, I've not really seen anything that I can say has been that bad from the sites that I've got. So can't speak for the whole industry, but yeah, mine's has been positive if anything. But I've not really. It's not been majorly positive or anything. It's not like everything's fucking jumped up or anything like that. It's like nothing really.
So we had we've had one breakout on the first, like so on the 30th, I saw some stuff change in like the SERPs and the way they're auto generating.
Is that the one with all the tech shit going on with it?
Yeah, dude. So what happened was the tech stuff's pretty much fixed before update. It increased by 800% in visibility in 24 hours with this latest update, dude.
Yeah,
so I've seen the 800% up. I've seen the 800% down almost. Like I've seen a decrease. Like I've seen some waterfalls with this update, dude. But they're mostly in different languages. There are a couple in the US that I saw that just dropped and tanked for pretty much everything, dude. And it's because
Mike specializes in Baidu, by the way. Yeah,
I do. I specialize in Baidu.
I call him and he's speaking in Chinese. I was like, I can't understand a word you're saying. He's like, oh, sorry. And then
I did get asked to go out to China and speak one time though. So I
you would be
to do it.
I would be a giant over there, right? I can't imagine. Like they would love you over there.
I'm very big on the Ask Jeeves search engine. Ask Jeeves was my speciality. I've never really worked out Google yet, but Ask Jeeves.
No, Google's too much, man.
I like Lycos. Lycos is good.
Yeah.
SEO died in 2010, and then we all went to like Southeast Asia, somewhere down in like Indonesia is where I work.
Yeah. If you've ever hired a VA, more than likely you've hired Mike. So
yeah, I am the VA industry, dude.
Yeah, he is the VA industry.
Actually,
work for a few bucks.
A couple of weeks ago, we had a troll on. It was on the Chris Palmer thing on a Wednesday, and the person's like, guys, have you ever seen a website that Craig or Chris is actually ranked? I don't think this guy knows, or this woman knows, that it's Ask Jeeves. I don't make any claims to be a good SEO. It's just my old historic Ask Jeeves stuff that I'm still playing off of. So, yeah, that's the trolls for you.
Dude, there's been some amazing things to do with Ask Jeeves and Ask.com, like with some of their imagery stuff and the way that Google has crawled them and indexed them in the past. But I mean, I think people do forget that like Bing and Yahoo and Ask Jeeves and DuckDuckGo, these are all like seeds that have algorithms. So it would make sense that Google would look at that and crawl that and say, oh, if this site's ranked here, this is a good directory. Maybe this is something I should pay attention to. So,
I'm reading Refresh, which was written by the CEO of Microsoft. And he was in charge of Bing. They put him in charge of Bing when they were really like, they just chose the new name, whatever it was called before. And it was interesting because essentially the primary task of Bing when they put it out, it was interesting because it generates billions of dollars a year now. But the primary reason that they did that was to perfect their cloud services and AI. They didn't give a shit about like search traffic or, they just wanted to make sure that if they knew if their search engine would work on their servers and everything, that everything else would work. So it's kind of a big shit test. And now Bing is Bing, you know, they get what, 20-30% traffic.
Yeah.
So
no, it's dude, money on Bing. I know we've made money with Bing. I traditionally have done very well.
Yeah, I mean, typically, it's a good traffic source, especially if you're doing the right stuff for Google. Traditionally, you're gonna rank in Bing, and then you can get a little bit spammier in Bing. EMDs work quite well still, so
they do.
Yeah.
And anchors as well, but anchors are important here.
Anchors, and I haven't tested it. I hear not social bookmarks still work really well for whatever reason. I know that's Craig's favorite.
Oh man, social bookmarking moves the needle well.
In Lycos.
Dude, I think it was 2014, like when I did sell Social Explosion to Network Empire. So that I loved social bookmarking because, you know, if you were auto publishing, say a couple hundred posts a day per site, and then dropping that, couple hundred posts, each one going into all the different, Twitter, freaking delicious, all of those things, a couple hundred times for each property. You could run a site for like a month or two and Google would rank it for freaking a year and a half, dude. And similar things can still happen.
Well, they kept crawling the social shit, didn't they? Like
for the social
years.
data hub.
They kept finding more, So
kind of like what they did with Firefox, Chrome, and everything they're doing now. Yeah. But that question about what's the best way for a beginner SEO to learn? Like, I think is it flipping site model or starting agency? I think that it is literally building a site, and however you monetize, I think learning SEO is absolutely by doing. And
I would have a project or two that you can really focus on first, and you can kind of burn up. But if someone comes to you wanting to pay you money to rank their site, then fucking take their money and figure it out. This isn't legal advice or anything, but you've got like people like us on the calls here and shit like that. Ask questions. Don't move too hastily and just build a bunch of scrape box, blog comments or anything, and then lie to people about you not building them. You can figure it out.
I think the best advice for a new SEO going out and doing something with a client is just remember, like, if you have an article that is on topic to the site you're trying to promote, then you can build a branded anchor. If you don't have an article that's on topic, then you need context in your anchor. And by context, I mean you need something that tells Google what the page is about. And
like at least market level,
Yeah, and if you understand that, then you can be pretty safe building links or buying links. But so, I'm looking at a bunch of stuff right now that has been taking since 2019 with every update. And a lot of it comes down to people not understanding where to put what anchors, and not understanding that brand is an actual thing right now. And you really should pay attention to how Google recognizes that entity or that brand, however you want to call it, for that website. It's really, Keyword Cupid is super legit, dude. Like, here's the thing. There's a lot of tools out there that use NLP that want to try to like recreate all this tech that Google like creates. They can't do it. It's impossible. Nobody will ever be able to do what Google does because nobody has the data that Google has. They have the Chrome user experience report. They have all of this shit that they stick into every market to score that actual set of sites that you will never match through NLP. And that's why something like Keyword Cupid is superior to something like Content.ai or any other tool that uses NLP only or doesn't use enough data. Google's a scraper, and so a scraper should be what you use to rank in Google. And so this is a straight, like, serious.
Well, the thing, like Google, Bing, Yahoo, I guess Yahoo uses Bing, but they've got teams of very, very smart engineers. No keyword tool, no nothing that is trying to recreate NLP is going to be able to match that firepower. They have teams and teams and money. Yeah, it is. Unless you're a big tech company. Yeah.
Yep. In NFG for years, we have taught people and shown people how to use what's already ranking to rank in Google. And that is like the concept that I think everyone needs to keep in mind is that Google is badass for ranking things that are in Google. Like, they make this algorithm so when they show you what works, like, that's what you should pay attention to. You don't need to do all this insane crap to do it right. You literally, I could go give you a 97. You know, it's actually something I think we're going to talk about on Thursday. Is like there's a freaking piece of software that's sold called Article Wizard, Instant Article Wizard, and all it does is it's like built in with the best spinner, and you can go in there and do your article research and write articles really quickly with this thing, and it mashes up different snippets from Google, different things from Google, and if we understand that Google ranks Google, then going and getting that stuff and making it work so that they don't trigger different spam flags is the best way to do SEO, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Hey, at the next event, Mike, can we play Capture the Spam Flag?
Yes, we can.
Nice.
We'll play Capture the Spam Flag right before you two fight.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we'll run out of gymnasium. Yeah.
And man, I'm looking forward to September. It's come together like crazy, man. Like we've written a little bit of the scripting on the content generation for the infinets instead of the mini nets, bro.
Infinets, yeah.
Spell that, fucker. Dude. Yeah. It's infinite, baby.
The infinite game.
This shit's working really well. Like it's funny, I don't know. There's names, people that Craig hangs out with. They're doing some really cool stuff. Like FatRank.com has some really good articles, shows some really damn good tools. But what I've noticed is everyone I talk to that's doing very well in SEO has the same mindset, whether they get there through one thing or another. They're doing the same damn stuff, man. There's some
all the top guys I've noticed are doing very similar things. You know,
there's some guys out of France that are freaking badasses, man.
I don't like their accents, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't work with a lot of people. Well, the French that I work with are not in France; they're in a different country. But
Canada.
They're doing. It's funny because when I start talking to people, they get through their shit test of like, well, yeah, Google's really hard to rank for. We don't do that anymore. And it all comes back to the same conversation, man. And it is understanding linking and how content links together and groups are made. And understanding that Google is all about the user experience and everything they do is about user experience. So when you understand that, man, then your link building is perfect and shit like that. So BK.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a loaded question, BK.
So what's your link building process for clients that don't want to do PBNs, paid posts, edits, or anything else go against Google terms of service?
I know. I've got an idea. Tell the client to fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point.
No, realistically.
It's either that, or if you think you can, if it's an easy enough campaign that you think you can get there with just like a social fortress or whatever you want to call it, an entity built around it, and then you want to put your spam behind that and just don't tell them that. But it's going to be hard to provide deliverables at that point if you're not doing ongoing content. Which if you're doing ongoing content, you need the links, or if you're not doing
this is
linking.
Simply saying, how do you do SEO without doing SEO?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, realistically,
how do you do Facebook ads without using Facebook?
So this guy, he's going on and on about how like buying backlinks is like buying followers in social media, and
that works too.
This conversation, and I'm like, so how do you do your link building? He's like, well, we hire someone that goes out and does outreach and all this. I'm like, well, then you're paying for your links right there, dude. Like
doesn't matter who you're
paying to build links, like no matter what, unless you truly just build content and let it sit there and don't ever go do anything, and you let that social share turn it into whatever you want. I will tell you,
which can work over time. I mean,
I have never seen a successful SEO campaign from any sort of white hat or black hat that is not paying for links in some manner. They just don't call it paying for links. And I mean,
citations would be one, I guess. If it's a local client.
Then what if you're paying next?
Yeah, I would be. But
if you're doing PR and you need to pay someone to pitch it.
Honestly,
digital PR, dude. Digital PR is literally a disguised word for link building, in my opinion.
I mean, look how much traffic a radio ad's going to bring you. That's going to help your SEO. But I would pick stuff that are, can be twisted to be whiter hat, which is like the citations, the PR, stuff like that, the social fortress. All of that stuff, and just hope that they rank. If they don't, tell them ahead of time, say, look, it's going to take a lot longer to do it this way. We can do it. And then when they come back bitching, you remind them of that piece of paper that they signed that said it would take longer because they want to control your SEO efforts. So, I mean, if you can close them, take it.
Jump down to BK's comment. I agree, but when I hear of people paying for links, they immediately get scared. Education's really key, I think. I mean,
and it's all about angles too. And as far as telling the clients about the process, it's kind of a double-edged sword because one, if you do it, it does provide transparency, because I feel like a lot of people have gone to SEOs and it's like, off to see the wizard, the dude behind the curtain. And they have no idea what you're fucking doing. I feel like providing as much transparency as possible is a good thing. That's why Mike and I switched to content plus linking, because it broke it down to a unit of measurement and a deliverable that the client could understand, as opposed to you pay us, you rank higher. It's
Start
really
calling it digital PR, man, and honestly, design a process where you drop a press release every month for them about something they've created, and then the links are created after the press release goes out, so that there's natural things going on at the same time, and you can be as transparent with them as you want. I'm not saying go and do anything someone doesn't want you to do to their website, but there are ways to design something that keeps everyone comfortable if that's what you have to do.
But
exactly.
Just don't tell them.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Drop a press release and pretend that it came from the press release distribution.
Yeah, that's it. At the end of the day, you would never go into a mechanic and say, "Dude, you service my car? Show me the oil, show me the screwdriver, what fucking nuts and bolts were moved to do shit." Like,
show me your nuts. Yes,
I want to see the nuts.
That's what I say every time I go into a can, because I've seen the movies. If I can't pay, hopefully I can get it for free. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree. Also, a doctor too. He's cutting you open. Show me the scalpel. Please don't show me the needle. Don't show me the scalpel.
This guy, dude.
But Zane was the guy asking about what's the best way to do SEO. Jordan Pierce mentioned earlier that he had 30,000 Bing fucking GMBs or whatever. There's so many ways you can make money without necessarily doing client SEO. You can do GMB stuff, which these guys do.
Client SEO and local SEO is basically the same. You're doing the same process. You're just getting paid in different ways.
Well, agencies, but he said he can't seem to learn the type of SEO an agency does. They don't do jack shit.
Yeah, I was going to say SEO agencies, the bigger ones, don't really do SEO.
They take your money and run.
They provide deliverables. If you want to build a scalable SEO agency, provide deliverables and have really good salespeople. That's it.
Oh, 100%. You can
lock them into contracts
for years doing almost nothing for people, man.
Get better at sales and SEO, and you will make more money.
We've got a question though from Sursuit Warrior. His site has no authority. He's got 500 articles written, and he's been using Keyword Cupid and so on. How many pages can he publish per day with no authority? What is you guys saying to that?
So here's the thing. It comes down more to like maintaining and managing the way that the bot is going to be on that site and classify all that content grouping. If you group that correctly, and the problem getting into these kind of large data sets, like sets of content on a site with no authority, especially if you are going in and you're doing something where you're not excluding keywords and you're not grouping properly. Like the way I like to optimize is to let shit score, then come back and re-optimize and analyze again and come back in. So if you have 500 articles and you're not sure that you have excluded everything properly, like you're not sure that you are not cannibalizing in places, you're getting in a spot where with a site that has no authority, a lot of volume, you can get into these situations where they're going to start discovering your pages and just never come back and actually index them. They're going to discover them and not crawl them. They're not going to score them. So you have to be very careful. I honestly think it's better to seed a site a little bit. We're doing one case study for the event right now, utilizing an Otis domain, and we're doing it in very segmented.
I was watching a YouTube video and someone else called it Otis instead of ODY.
I know, I saw that too.
A little better. Yeah. That was
but I think they found, I won't say that, but okay. But yeah, no, and realistically, like, by doing that, like I'm watching, and not just with domains that are aged, but new ones that have gone up recently with the latest update, because they've been sitting and seeding and they haven't gone too big, and they've been actually effective with the tech and the bot, they have 800% increased visibility overnight when the updates roll out. The same thing can go negative if you don't do it properly when those type of things roll out and they rescore, because you've missed that, oh, I have an expired domain, but I haven't taken care of the understanding and how Google understands that entity. So now I've lost 25, 50% of my traffic or whatever. So just be really careful and get that stuff like ranking before you go overboard with it. Like, they're only going to give you so much love when you're brand new without any authority, which we can all talk about what authority is, but just don't go too big too quickly. Like, there's people that I would not go up against in a spam type of contest type situation, because I know, like, if they have certain things going on with the sites and I go in with a new site, I can't compete with it because of the seeding they've already done and shit like that. So I would crawl currently not indexed. Yeah, exactly. That shit is not fun to see, is it?
But yeah, that should hopefully give you an idea. But you shouldn't be looking at it as how much content can be published per day. I would just start to build some authority. Just what you've got to do.
Yeah, I mean, at max, I do maybe 1 or 2 a day if you've already got them written. But you're going to need to link to those at some point. So
the question is also like what you're doing with that site. If you are doing, if you're like a blended local type thing, depending on what you're doing, like if it is article,
it doesn't make sense to produce a bunch of content for a local website, like you said. Like, if it's a publishing site, a news site, it makes sense to do 2, 3, 4, 5 a day if you've got the budget to do that. But it, like Mike said, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So
another question we have: if you got alternatives for these tools?
Proxy Booster, I don't know if I'm 100% sure what it is. SERPX, we wrote. When did we write SERPX?
At least 4 years ago ish. Yeah,
so SERPX is code base. It still does work. We wrote it like.
Are they providing support for SERPX still?
I don't know if they're providing support. You're in the membership. You're in NFG. I'll send you something, dude. Because we're tweaking stuff right now for the NFG monthly members. So I'll send you something, man.
I'm creating a few tools that we'll just hand out.
It's not public, but I'll give it over.
Yeah.
And on that note, like, make sure you're there this Thursday. We're going over the updates that are happening right now that it's important for you to see. So, and I guess on that note, anyone that's not in there, take the trial this week. It's a good week to take it because we're doing a webinar on Thursday that's pretty important. So that's nfgseo.com/7 and jump on that webinar, dude, for free. It's going to be worth it. So, what did David Troy?
Right, we're just putting that up there on the screen, but yeah, David Troy.
I'm looking to build more sites for a specific niche to generate more leads for a PPL affiliate network, but I am afraid the offer might be paused when I'm scaling. What should I do in this case? Brad, what do you
have? Multiple offers queued up is what I would do, especially if it's it depends on the niche, because like if you're in rehab, there's always people like begging you for leads if you've got leads there. Car insurance, same thing. Personal injury, same thing. Some of these random ass niches that pop up and go away, or like I've noticed in water damage a lot of times, like this time of year, the amount that they pay you will go way down, or it'll get completely paused because they don't need the work. Where if they're hurting for work, then you're going to get those $150 to $300 payouts. So it just depends on the niche. Try and go into a niche where you have multiple options and you can send the calls elsewhere if they do pull. I mean, we have to restructure our call flow all the time, but we're prepared for it. So we're actually going through and restructuring and expanding out some campaigns at the moment.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times like I learned after the fact, Brad's like shifted part of the call volume to this offer, another part to this offer, then this is going there, just because of optimization of the call flow. So with offers, whether you're doing like data or calls, you absolutely want to make sure that you're continually, we're optimizers, right? Whether it's our websites or our funnels, we should always be optimizing.
Your business in general, take SEO, marketing, whatever out of it. You should be optimizing your business to maximize profits with minimal effort 100% of the time. As the CEO of your organization, that's what you should be doing. And that's like Mike and I were talking about, working in your business versus working on your business. You know, that's why we try and automate so much. That's why we try and, you know, put those tasks onto either a VA or a bot. I prefer a bot. That way we can strategize, if that's a word, strategery, coined by George Bush. But we can kind of step back. We can see the forest for the trees, and we can, okay, I can move this over here, or I can do this over here. Okay, I can learn from these mistakes, as opposed to always being reactional. I'm making up words right and left today. So
reactional, dude. I called it their self today, talking to.
I saw that. I didn't want to say anything. Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm like, I made a new word. I'm a marketer. Their self.
Yeah. I mean, SEOs make up terms all the time, right? Organic,
Craig did an awesome freaking. The way I see it is I couldn't do what I do without people that are either working for us or my partners. And I'm sure, Craig, with your team, how could you do what you're doing without the people that are supporting you? So you can actually work on those top level optimizations of your business, dude. Exactly. How do you do that if you don't have help, right? I don't.
There's only 24 hours in a day for every single fucking person in the world. So.
But one of the biggest fails I ever had when I had my agency was building myself into the business.
Yes.
Most stressful time in my life, and
it sucks.
It sucks.
How much hair did you lose during that period of time? Just
a lot. I've had two hair transplants to try and replace it. So
yeah.
But on that note, do you guys have a complete on-page course on NFG?
Yeah, we've got a ton of on-page stuff.
We got a ton of stuff, years of it. I mean, we have
just going through the MiniNet course plus learning how to use cognitive SEO. I mean, that's all you need.
Yeah, no, the on-page course goes beyond just the basic on-page. We're talking about coming back in and I keep talking about, our auto-generated content not only goes in and builds new content, but it goes in and also updates old posts. There's a very specific reason why people talk about freshness. The knowledge that Google has about any given market at any given time changes and it increases. So if we know that, then we should be always going back and analyzing Google and finding what's new in that market for that context group on our site, or what intent group, whatever you want to call it, and then put that data in. So we talk about the basic on page, and then the stages of on page, because I don't start with I'm going to do everything at once. I'd rather get my content in, scored, ranking, understand what's going on, see where the trends are for that site, then come back in and re-optimize the site, just like I re-optimize the revenue, right? So yeah, there's on page stuff there. Go ahead.
I've got a question for you guys. Who would you consider to be the best out of you two at SEO? Just in a short, sharp answer. If you were going to challenge someone, for example,
Brad would beat me. It doesn't matter. Brad would beat me.
Brad would beat you.
Yeah.
Right. So Brad.
No, I think it just depends. I mean, we work together, so I think it would be pretty close.
Is going to outbeat any implicit knowledge I may have about something any freaking day, dude. There's no question in my mind.
Fuck this shit, right? Anyway, what I'm trying to lure you guys into is Holly Starks wants a competition, a mass page building website.
I heard that.
So I just want to know which one of you motherfuckers is going to take her on.
I want to take Holly on in this competition because I know what Holly's going to do.
So you're shitting out already?
What's that?
So you're shitting out already?
I'll think about it. I'll think of what is available to try to compete with it. So I'll give it a thought. But I'll do it. We'll do it. But I have a feeling I know how exactly this will go.
Because Holly's tried to lure me in, Chris Palmer, but I just don't want to get my ass fucking beaten on my own.
I was there. It was a good challenge. And honestly, if I can pick terms, like I said, then I will. But still, There's some slick shit going on. So that would be fun, though. I think a mass page contest would be fun, actually. So it might be worth doing something and putting something together.
Yeah.
Especially because I think we're going to have Holly with us in September and some pretty cool people in September. So it could be a cool lead up too.
What we could do is try and start this at some point in July, get the competition going, and then we can go through it in September.
Yep.
We can say, right, here's how far we've got. You probably won't be. I love the confidence, Holly. You probably won't beat me, but
no, dude, no. I can pretty much guarantee that this is the case. What Holly is saying right now, because like what Holly's up to. So, but it'll be fun anyways. It's not about winning; it's about seeing what happens. Because I'll have to come in with a different angle anyways. So it would be fun.
No, that's it. I don't mind getting beat by people like Holly. As long as you're participating and seeing what you're up against and learning from it, seeing what she's up to, then
yeah,
it's always good. But talking about that, Adam Poland's asking, do you think location pages still work?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very much so in top 5 CPC markets too. 100%.
How much would you change the content on each page to avoid duplicate content?
I don't change it a ton.
Just the city and details obviously works very, very
especially
well.
If you have a separate entity attached to each one. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I am talking about in a lot of cases that these do have GMB ties, but you can actually build multiple sections and rank multiple sections of these location pages in the same SERPs, utilizing subdomains cleverly and the root domain cleverly to tie these two sections together to now have double the spread for each city. So there's definitely ways to do this, and you can do that with network type sites as well, like in the NFG, like Mininet stuff or whatever. So
yeah, eLocal can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but I mean they're good to get started with probably. So it feels like it feels like a recto exam every time that you want.
They're better than other affiliate.
Yeah,
dude, I won't do this because it's dirty, dude. I was outside working. Look, I got sweatband.
What's that like?
Working outside.
Working
hard, dude.
Cutting down trees and shit.
With his bare hands.
Yeah.
So for local, I am going to say this. I think everyone should come into NFG and see what we're doing with the system in local, because like for local, we can kind of skip the process that everyone talks about because we look at it differently. And like what we're doing warrants itself. Like I think people don't really understand keyword cannibalization very well because people don't realize that you can have multiple pages from the same domain ranking in the same SERP for the same keyword, as long as you pay attention to the actual like context of your pages and you're changing that. People call it intent. It's not exactly intent to me, but so I would come in and take a look, and we'll shoot you over to that system that we've been doing. So.
Oh, wait a minute. That's what I meant to put up.
Who else? We've got a lot of it's actually a really solid flow right now, because what we're doing is we're doing like the presentation side, and then we're going to be doing the workshop side. But what we miss about like the first events we did was like hearing people ranking on day 2 for the stuff we taught them on day 1, you know, like taking it and like doing it right away. So we want to see people like do that again. So we're bringing people like you, Holly, that are doing things that actually work really well right now to talk about what they're doing in general, and then kind of help people implement things. So we've got Clint has said yes, and Fletch has said yes, and Corey has said yes, Craig has said yes.
And the cool thing, honestly, about it is the way that Mike is structuring it. He wants to ensure that it all kind of vibes together, as opposed to we've got this random speaker and this random speaker and this random speaker, and you get everyone all hyped up for like 20 or 30 different things. No, we want someone to be able to come in, and each thing leads to the next, and that's what Mike is orchestrating at the moment. And it's going to be a complete system that everyone can come in, learn, and then hopefully take massive action. After.
Leo said yes from Keyword Cupid. So we've got the process. Like, so the system that as we've been redesigning a little bit, because it's been awesome, like with the last few like core updates, like, you know, the things they've rolled out recently, like on the 30th, they completely changed how they were actually auto-generating content in the SERP. And it was funny because I was checking some of my data live, and I watched it go from bang, bang, and I saw the rollout on a bunch of stuff. Like
it went from bang, bang to bing, bing to boom, boom.
And so there's just a lot of things that people are doing right now that really vibe with each other. And so the system is being built for this event to utilize everything that those people are doing to maximize each step of it, so that people can go away with like ranking money-making properties and things like that. So.
And what date's this event on?
It looks like we're going to be doing the 23rd, 24th of September is what it looks like. So let me just double check that. But we will get an official announcement. Yeah, that's like the
Thursday, Friday. And then if we have a workshop day, it'll be that Saturday. And then you and I can punch each other in the head Saturday night.
And then we might do, especially because we've got people that are coming from different countries. I definitely want people to be able to get together and find people they can work with. So we might have some stuff the day before or after, just to get together and network. So CBD cakes. Is this a money-making man right here?
I don't care who it is. This guy speaks the truth. I'm fucking waiting on it.
He looks like he likes CBD cakes.
So Brad, I did have a question about Vietnamese phone farms.
Please don't.
Oh man.
Please don't have any questions. That's not until that's not. Hey, you're not supposed to be on here until 12:58.
Jude McLean asked a question about business models, and what we have always taught and truly believe is that you should have multiple revenue streams and should never be focusing on an individual model at all. You should be focused
on properties that generate free cash flow, whether that's PPL. We have a massive PPL division within, you know, our core business. We've got some affiliate display ad networks, shit like that. We've got that. I honestly do like PPL just because it's what I've done the most of.
Calls are the best money ever, in my opinion. There's no better money than selling calls, but that does not mean, like, if you look at what a link marketplace is, if you go buy an edit or a guest post, what are you getting there? You're getting a link from a business that's either publishing or they're making money somehow, right, is what you're looking for. So if you're creating websites, why wouldn't you be creating them to make money and also link to other websites that make you money as well? So that's why everything should tie together. Your PPL can promote your publishing sites very easily. And that's the like kind of flow that we've done in like a 3-tiered structure that we've been working on for like, shit, dude, 15 years, 16 years, 17 years.
Yeah, honestly, I would like to diversify out of PPL a little bit more just because a bulk of our income does come from that, but grab it while it's easy. So
yeah, dude, it's hard to turn down call sale and data.
It is.
So
yeah.
Sewer Soup Warrior was asking, what if you can only get unverified GMBs for your location pages? Will that still be effective?
I'd still do it even without it unverified. Yeah. Build the page anyways, do it properly, get it seeded and ranked, and then when you can get it verified, verify it, dude.
Yeah.
David Troy's asking, how many hours do you guys work, if at all? I'm only kidding.
I'd say like
I go in seasons, man. Like I go in seasons.
Well, you can't go outside in the winter.
Yeah. So like when it comes to the winter, dude, like, I mean, the last like major campaign generator, I was doing like 17, 18 hours a day, dude. And I'm not telling people to do it, but I get obsessive when I'm working on SEO, dude. So
I think he's talking about working out, isn't he? Was it working out or just working?
Work. What's your typical work routine like? How many hours do you work?
Oh, I was thinking working out.
Brad's brain is all over.
The gun show.
Yeah, man.
Did someone the gun show?
That's NFG SEO.
Yeah, I mean PPL is, you know, what we do. So
what does PPL mean? Making private deals, or do you go through a lead selling company?
Ultimately, you want to get private deals. A lot of times you're going to have to start with the lead an intermediary. Start there first, get traffic, get calls going, then go to them, get signed up. And then after that, once you have that information, then you can kind of start parsing your calls out, just like a lot of people do with traffic, and sending those to specific vendors. So
let's address BK's statement here about GMBs. I've never done GMBs before and first have to learn how to get set up and verified. Do you have any resources for that? I know sharing methods is risky, but do you share any tips? We share tips with people we talk to, but I wouldn't focus on that as a sole obsession.
Yeah. Best method is to purchase them, because otherwise it's going to be a pain in the ass. So get a vendor that you trust and is always in the lab trying to formulate new tactics for getting them. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself fucking crazy trying to keep up with that shit. So yeah. But optimizing them is fucking easy. Just fill everything out. That's it.
Fill them out and put them in the system.
Yeah, exactly.
I have got something here to say to David Troy. So my workout routine just now is just jab punch. That's all I need to do to beat Brad. So it's not much, which is why I'm still a fat bastard. But I don't really have to train that hard. I'm training probably about 30 minutes a week just now.
I was going to say I'm an hour or two a month. So yeah, that should be enough.
I'm hoping the least amount of training possible, and I should win. So
it's not going to be a boxing match. It's going to be
times a day because he's working out.
Well, Mike has a knack for knowing when I'm either eating or running. So
yeah, I can tell when Brad's running or eating, dude.
Yeah, he calls me up. So
usually that's when I try to get a hold of him.
Yep, just to piss me off.
Yeah. Do you use always be tracking, dude?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Call always be tracking. Yes. CallRail is a more expensive solution, but you can do a lot with the call flows in there. I typically just suggest that because it's the easiest, and you don't have to fuck about with.
It helps to have a grandfathered account too that they give you freaking numbers cheaply on too.
Well, you can negotiate with them too.
Yeah, they do negotiate, man. They are a solid company.
That CallWagon is okay. I know everyone tried to switch to SignalWire a few years ago. They're okay for cheap numbers, but I still route it through a CallRail call flow just because there's so much shit I can do with it.
CallRail really gives some serious features on optimizing, and optimizing again is huge.
Well, I like CallRail just because you can segment out we've got different niches, so each one is called a company within CallRail. So say you actually do get a local client that's taking calls from the Northeast for I don't know, mobile mechanics or something. So you get them and you can put them directly into the CallRail business so they can view the calls coming in real time and know what you've actually sent. And then if they have any disputes, you could say, look, you've got access to this when you invoice them at the end of the month. So
it's like we had a test that we did recently and they're like, well, we didn't get anything. And I'm like, well, here you go. Look at this. And oops.
They don't know where the calls are coming from. And I honestly, a lot of people do the whisper messages, but that's fucking annoying to me.
We don't do it. We had a big conversation. Actually,
it delays everything too, because they're like, hello, and then you get the whisper, and then you've got to fucking say hello again. They get confused, and
The only time I've used a pre-message is when I was getting a lot of volume of people looking for people and there was suicide stuff going on. So then we dropped in a pre-message to make sure people called 911. And it did take our revenue down, but you just got to be a good person, and you don't want to leave people freaking out about how to help someone.
It goes past being a good person too. You don't want to catch a lawsuit either.
Well, that's very true.
I'm just looking at other. Sir, this one here was BKSEO. He was asking before that. I'm just trying to figure out what he was asking. Where's the best place for him to get the methods that work for GMBs? And then he's
I would say, BK, jump into Skype and just message and talk to people in there and see if you can make some relationships. The thing is, it's possible right now, but a lot of people aren't going to do that for other people, and the people that I know that have large volume, we're talking over, 15, 20,000 listings. they won't even talk to people because it's too lucrative, right? So I would say really get in a community like that. And that's, I swear, is like some of the best stuff about NFG is there are people in there that have been around for 6 years following Brad and I that I've known for like 10 or 12 years that are doing major things that come out when there's new, like right now is a good time to get in there because of all the changes that have significantly happened over the last year. There's been a shift in the direction. So now people are coming out to learn more. So like the forever students are now coming back out and have a lot to offer. So it's actually a really good time to start making connections in some of those groups right now. So from a business standpoint, I would say start networking if you're.
I mean, from a business standpoint, you always want to maximize the resources available to you. Resources can be time, money, people, connections. Connections are the easiest way to expand your business beyond what you could do alone. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not stupid.
Jump into dude, come talk on Skype, bro. Seriously, because if you are trying to start, there's having that kind of like chop up with people is going to be super beneficial. Like I will say that a good.
Unless you're me, then you just look at a Skype conversation. If it's over 199 plus messages, I'm like, scroll to the end.
Yeah, Brad has to say in projects, don't talk about anything about the project, or else Brad won't be able to see it, basically. So because I have a tendency to talk. If you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be careful. Mike can mess it a lot. But what is the cost of getting into your paid group?
It's just $97 a month, and we have a monthly webinar. That's where the value truly comes in. But everyone can get a 7-day trial if you want to hop in and check it out. Just if you don't like it, cancel it. So our feelings will not be hurt. It's not our primary source of revenue, to be honest. We're not like a ton of the gurus. I know Craig's in the same boat. I mean, you make a shit ton of money elsewhere, and you don't need to do that stuff. So that's basically what we're at. Yeah, but that's a good position to be in, because then you can just focus on helping people, and we learn a ton from our students as well. And we've made some fantastic connections over the years, and with personal projects, working with various students. I mean, it's been a fun ride.
So this is a good one. What OP said. There's an article that popped out. I think it was today that we were looking at in a way to kind of like say, okay, how can we talk to people? So Dewey, Mueller brought Dewey, this guy Dewey, on from the search quality.
That's team. One of the ducks, right? Huey, Dewey, and Lee.
Yeah, it is, dude. So basically, they've given some hints on what they are detecting automatically through their algorithms now and what they aren't. So it says for such low quality or spam content, it's relatively easy. If you are a person and you look at a page that's full of gibberish, or in this case, guest books with spammy posts, you should be able to say that empathetically, yes, this is spam within seconds. Even if it's more complicated with a trained eye, it should take less than a minute to determine something is spammy or not. And as Google, we have all these signals and all this data that we've accumulated and analyzed and studied over the years. So it's entirely possible to collect those data, to study it, and build things like machine learning models to tackle spam. So here's the thing. We can talk about something like GSA or FCS Networker and all these lists, right? So I'm not saying anything about the tool. What I want people to focus on is the list and what they're doing with this. Google has literally come out and shown that, okay, if we see a domain, if we see multiple domains that have similar URL structures, similar content structures, well, then we will flag that as potential spam, and then there's other signals that we look for, right? So if you're building like a lot of social profiles, Web 2.0 that won't get indexed, and you're using something like Omega Indexer, then you're probably not going to get those indexed, man, because they flagged that thing.
Links are going to be the best way to get them indexed, and it's still not guaranteed at that point.
And it's not guaranteed because they will crawl through, and they will make things actual, like they literally will drop you out. Like in e-com, if you have pagination or any type of site, if you go no index follow, eventually those will become no follow. Google will make them no follow even though they are not no follow. They do this. And so what's up, Fletch? Fletch is coming in September, and he's been doing some sick shit with like semantic connections and content and link building.
All the shit I don't understand.
But also, the next thing that they went in and said, which is a big indicator of what we should be doing, is, where is it? So yeah, I did around machine learning. Okay, so I don't have that quote in front of me, but what they said was we're having a problem with hacked links or loophole links and stuff. So they're basically, they have a lot of flags that they can look for with certain types of links, which you have to understand if you're building mass sites, because essentially look at your mass site as another type of link. It's all just pages. So if you're building something that flags as spam, then you're going to get these crawled and not in the index yet or whatever. And then if you're building the links like with a tool like FCS Networker or SIR from GSA, then you might get flagged with the same stuff, dude. So basically, yeah, big words, there we go. Basically, pay attention and don't sit there and just try to index social profiles in Web 2.0. Don't waste resources there. If you're building links that aren't indexing naturally over time, make your list better. If you're using automated tools, just make the list better, because I know people killing it with those tools as well. So it's about your list, man. Maps and card tricks.
Wait a second. David Troy asking, do you guys prefer multiple exact match sites or one authority site? And
I prefer multiple authority sites, to be honest. If you're going for long-term, EMVs can be good for short-term gains. But long-term, to keep something that's going to stay indexed and continue producing revenue, I would build out the network of authority sites.
Like looking at like this, like people go like, okay, Google, Bing, this is search engine. If you're building like in the infinite mini-net type of style, you might have an exact match that is focused on a location that's killing it in Bing and has a link to an authority site that's killing it in Google. So you're basically just creating this big web of property. So you should be utilizing all of it, because yes, exact match will work in a lot of cases if you know what you're doing, and it will work very well. But then again, I'm looking at sites right now that didn't understand how to build their anchors, didn't understand how to build their links, and now they're over optimized on page and off page for exact partial terms, right? So use all of it, man. All of it is important. Our mixed model sites an issue. Going for PPL and ecom on the same, not at all, dude. Not at all.
I would probably, separate those.
We've actually separate them, but again, if you look at cannibalization and intent, then you can actually take the same thing and hit it. I'm actually doing something right now.
I guess I'm just having trouble envisioning. I know you used the furniture example. I'm having trouble envisioning something that would cross both realms.
So what I'm trying to get out is a local store with an e-commerce presence absolutely can make money from e-commerce and local leads, right? So if a local store can do that, then you can do that with lead generation if you have the right offers. Yes, 100%.
It's like Windows. I think a lot of those guys just sell the Windows. So that essentially would be a mix. So yeah, in that case, I would say that would be good. I was just trying to think of the traditional, like,
I wouldn't teach it as it's their first thing to do to somebody, for sure, because you do run into cannibalization issues if you don't understand structure very well.
Another question from Viral Clout. With NLP, what does Google understand in text? Because Kyle's lorem ipsum test was able to rank. Have things changed since Kyle done that?
I think Kyle could do it again, to be honest, if he wanted to.
NLP's relationships between topics, man, is just the easiest way I think I can put it. And the way that people talk about those topics. Intent requires considering the value you are putting out there. Intent is empathy. A good example is in Greece or in Italy during COVID, when it was really bad and people were locked up. Everyone's out of their windows playing guitar, singing together, and it brought everyone together. Well, then some celebrities tried to do the same thing on Twitter, and it caused a whole bunch of backlash. The same damn thing with a whole bunch of different intent that people perceive. So when you understand, a good example is looking at the MacBook Pro query. Apple will rank for usually 3 to 4 pages, sometimes 2, for the same query. They'll have those slots because they have a page about all, like, just general topic of research, which is information intent. Then they'll have individual screen sizes, which is commercial and hybrid subs. potentially, and then they'll have like a spec page that ranks sometimes and various things. So when you understand the intent and you break things apart and you segment your content groups like that, and this is why Keyword Cupid is so freaking valuable to people, because it actually does a good job of the intent portion of things. That is what you want to focus on. And that's what Google is trying to do. PageRank was all about determining how quality one page would be based on another page linking to it and the estimate of traffic to that page. That's the user experience. That's all they want to do, is find a way to make the user happy so they can make money, dude. The money, right?
Monetization. I think when I classify a traditional PBN, I think of someone just went out and found an auction domain or an expired domain, and just they're linking to whatever the fuck they want on it. It's got like the basic theme, no time or effort put into it. They went and ordered an article, threw it on there. It might link to, in one post might link to a chiropractor, and the next post it might link to Garcinia, Cambodia, stuff like that. Mini nets are themed, are niched. Go ahead over to mininettraining.com, and I explain what the difference is there. And this is stuff that we've been teaching for what, at least 6 years now, Mike? The mini-net stuff? Yeah. And it still holds true. So yeah, go ahead and check out mininettraining.com. And I think one of the first few videos I explained the difference between a mini-net versus a PBN.
We have not changed the process. It's like the details change, and I think it's the same for you probably, Craig, but the process of SEO like generally stays the same, dude. Like for me at least, like it doesn't generally change except for like the tweaks and details in there. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I would 100% agree. You know, everyone talks about SEO's changed and all that kind of stuff. It's evolved, but you know, the core concept of SEO hasn't changed that much at all over the years. Obviously, building shitty links compared to building good quality relevant links, it's still building links. So, you know, links and content are the main things, and they always have been. Obviously, you've had to change it slightly because spammy junk links no longer work. But yeah, I think again, I always say it, people just don't do the basics right. They're looking for something else and they don't do the basics properly. And yeah, you just got to get down and do a bit of grind. But we do have another question from Hampton Mayor. Would you rather spend a lot of money getting a developer to create software that runs a phone farm for YouTube, or buy software that's already made?
It depends on if the stuff that's already made actually works. If it actually works and does what you need it to do, why would you go out and develop something? If it does not do what you need it to do, then and you really want it done, then you're going to have to develop it.
The first thing I would ask myself is okay, can I do this by just buying advertising somewhere? Like in general, like, can I accomplish what I want to accomplish with this by actually doing something that's going to directly make me money? And then I would start looking at if I need software for it. And usually it ends up being something where there's a lot to write because other people aren't doing it properly for the process, right? And that's, so it's usually that flow. Like, what's the easiest way to make the money with what the concept is? Do we even have to develop? Because if we don't, I don't want to.
I don't want to put myself through that. Yeah, if I don't have to.
After that, can I bot it? Can I bot it first? Can I have a bot made? Can I do a bot before I do anything else? And that's where we go there. And then maybe software.
I'd love to have software or a tool, but I've just never been clever enough, or I'd rather take the easy option out. Some other motherfuckers made it.
Dude, there is always so much that goes into dev. Like, I hate those dev loops, because then you get new ideas, and by the time you finish it, you're like, I don't really want this now, you know. And then
they're never done.
A bunch of time. Yeah,
I've been working the same site gen code base for like freaking 10 or 12 years, dude, just evolving it, you know. But yeah, no, I think that for those of you that still have questions, seriously, like the webinar this week is a good time to get deeper questions answered, because we are doing one this week. So it's time. I would just
it'll be Thursday. Yeah, Thursday at what, 2?
Yeah, I think that's what you scheduled.
Yeah, I'll send out the link to everyone today. So
what is that? 7 p.m. UK time. You're 5 hours behind. So
yeah, it'd be 7 UK time.
We did that time for the UK. We got some people that have been like members and we've worked with on campaigns for like 6 years. They're like,
because we used to do like what?
Shit.
Yeah, 7 or 8 our time or Eastern, because the kids would be in bed. But then, yeah, like especially Nick and them, who have been with us since the beginning, requested that we change it up. So that's what we started doing.
And Fletch has sold all his interests in software companies for a reason.
They suck. They're rough. Yeah.
His hair was falling out, but it's grown back.
Yeah, look at that beautiful mane.
Exactly.
That's a pretty man.
But guys, do check out these guys on Thursday, 7 p.m. on, where's the best place? NFGSEO.com.
Yeah, NFGSEO.com/7.
/the number.
And get in there. There's a webinar section. I'll post that link like immediately after this before I forget again. So
Facebook.
Kevin McGuire. Got to keep my hair. But guys, if you have enjoyed today's show, please do give us a like on the video before you go. Also check out odys.cc.
Seriously.
Towards the cost of grabbing an expired domain or a done-for-you affiliate website, and do check out these guys, NFG. I'll just type it in again, nfgsu.com/7 for that webinar on Thursday. And hopefully these guys will also soon release the details of this event in September.
I just need to make sure you weren't going to back out for that fight, Craig. So...
Mate,
the only thing Brad cares about is punching you this year, dude. Like straight up. I try to talk about details like, can I hit Craig?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. That's why everyone's going to come anyway. So
exactly.
See that shit show. Yeah.
Just I've spoke to so many guys that are just like that. Brad's a cunt.
Yeah, Fletch, so, that's what you were saying.
You were talking to my mom, huh?
That could have, I'm not even going to reply to that because that could have went so many ways. But lots of interest in this fight as well, Fletch. You're going to see your mate Brad getting a fucking beating. So yeah, he's never. And
that's why Fletch agreed to go, so he could.
Yeah, but I heard Fletch saying on one of the shows, "You ain't seen these people are not made of the same shit that you guys are made of. We are strong people.
A different breed of shit. We are.
We're too mixed." Over here, we're just
get it in Sky box office maybe one day, but yeah, we don't want Brad to get too embarrassed in front of the whole world just now. Just in front of the SEO community first and foremost. Then I'll take.
We'll be on the Tyson Fury undercard. We can.
Josh, do what I do. Just play it by ear, bro.
Mate, come on.
Yeah. Whoever wins, Josh. Like, I
know I'm running the books though. I'm taking my skin.
Flesh.
Yeah, the guy that can't count is running the books. So.
Brad is probably light featherweight, some shit like that, and I'm heavyweight, so there only really is going to be one winner.
It'll be like Logan
about that. How it's like, dude, like bam, dude, like this is great, dude.
Logan Paul versus Mayweather. Yeah.
I'm a short ass as well, but body wise, I'm probably twice the size of Brad, so maybe not quite twice, but yeah, if I land any punches, I think Brad will feel them. So. I've got a lot of.
At least I'll feel something that day.
He never feels. He's deep, dark.
Yeah.
Anyway,
soul's as dark as my eyeliner.
On that note, guys,
3 over.
Before it gets really filthy, do just check out nfgseo.com/7, and we will catch you again next week, people. And Josh, you are. Me and Mike might be a more even match.
I ain't fighting you, bro.
Yeah, Josh is a former football player.
About this dude. I ain't fighting you. Nah.
I was going to call both Brad and Fletch out, but that would just be fucking silly.
Fletch can fight Mario. We'll get Mario there.
Yeah, we'll get Mario going.
I'm not fighting Mario either.
Yeah. We got to get a fight for Fletch.
Yeah, Gary, young Gary.
That's a mismatch.
So are you and I, but we're gonna do it.
But Fletch is a fucking hell of a big guy, man. He looks it anyway. So yeah, fuck that.
Harvard football player.
Yeah, nah, that's not fair for Gary. Gary's
too pretty.
Yeah, find someone else.
Yeah.
We'll come up with
We
someone.
get Gary and Michael S. fighting, dude. Land
Yeah.
that.
Handbags. Yeah, that could be fun. But on that note, guys, we will not bore you any longer, and we will catch you next week, guys. See you later on.
Take care.